Cupcakes and Coneys was an idea that I'd had for many years, just had lived in different cities and then had some job changes, and so just finally decided to do it. But it is I kind of call it a big concession stand with cupcakes, because cupcakes are our main focus, and then we also have coney dogs, hot dogs, nachos, pretzels, drinks, coffee. So for me, people say how to describe it. I always say, well, it's kind of like a big concession stand, but we have cupcakes too. The coney is a hot dog with like chili sauce on top. So it still amazes me every day when we get, oh, what's a coney? Because I'm like, really? You live in Indiana, how do you not know what a coney is? But yeah, I get that question all the time, because it is kind of a different combination to have cupcakes and coneys. But I kind of said when we started this venture that if you were standing down at the corner of University and Martin, that if it just said Cardinal Cupcakes, you would probably go eat at another establishment because you could see all their signs and you knew what they had. And then you'd come here to get a cupcake maybe for dessert, and you'd be like, oh man, I could have ate there and had a hot dog or some nachos or a pretzel, and which is more of a lighter lunch to go with the cupcake, so you still get to enjoy that cupcake, because a lot of times people don't get to dessert. So we wanted some light foods that they could still feel like they could eat and then still enjoy a cupcake too. So as we were talking, my husband and I, and it was kind of like, well, we've got cupcakes, and I said, what about hot dogs? But we didn't want to do H, because that didn't start with a C. And so I said, what about coney dogs? And so I said that should hopefully get people to know that, oh, they've got food, and even if they don't know what a coney is, maybe it would get them to walk down here and come in and say, what's a coney? And then they would see everything that we had. But yeah, at first it was just going to be cupcakes, and then I thought, no, we really need to do a light lunch to get kind of a lunch crowd in there too, or a dinner crowd as well. And so that's how coneys came about with the cupcakes. We have all different kinds of cupcakes. We have 10 flavors a day. 8 of them stay the same, and those are the ones that have Ball State significance. So like we've named Duck Pond, which is our lemon, or Cow Path, which is a vanilla with a chocolate frosting and then vanilla chips on top, because to me cows are black and white. So just kind of pick those names for significance of what is around campus. Probably our most popular one is the Bird, which is our red velvet, and it does have a marshmallow cream frosting on the top. Probably Benny's our second favorite, which Benny's after the chocolate statue, as I like to call it, where I also got proposed to from my husband. So for me, that one has a big significance to me. But that one's we call it our chocolate, because it's chocolate with chocolate frosting with an M&M on top. So those 8 flavors stay the same all the time, and then we have 2 what we call Scramble Light flavors of the month. And being on Ball State campus, we know about the Scramble Light and the Chirping Bird. And those are 2 flavors that rotate every month depending on the season. So like in November, we had pumpkin and pecan pie, which was pretty significant for Thanksgiving. This month we have a peppermint and a gingerbread. So anytime the month changes, then 2 flavors will change. January we have pina colada and peanut butter. And so we're always going to have those 2 that change, and then hopefully the 8 will always stay the same. But it's kind of neat, because now that we've gotten some regulars, people know the names of them already, and at the counter they order them by name. They don't order them by, I want the lemon one or the coconut one. Our coconut one's called Frat Row, because I say everything on Frat Row is nutty anyway. So, but just, I sat down one day and I was like, what are the, the names of things at Ball State? And then we just tried to name them after that. I've always had baking in my blood, I think. My grandma did cakes for years, wedding cakes and birthday cakes, and my grandpa was a baker with bread, and so I think it just came natural that anytime that we have like a family outing, I was always the one to bring like the baked goods or whatever, the dessert pretty much, no matter what it was, I was always the dessert girl. So I just finally had worked some other jobs and graduated from Ball State with a different degree, and then just decided that when Millhouse bought the building back in March, I just went and sat down and talked with them and said, hey, this is something that I'd like to do, and their vision saw my vision and I saw their vision, and we just kind of put it all together and decided that, you know, this was something I'd always had a passion for, and I just never had the right location and the right timing, and then finally it all came together. I kind of had a vision when I decided what to do with the layout that I sat down with my contractor, which is Steve Scott Construction out of Elwood, and he had worked with me before on a different, you know, venture, and just I knew it was a big square rectangle building and it was empty, and I knew I'd, you know, need a counter to put the cupcakes on, and so we just kind of started laying out of this needs to go here and that needs to go there, and I'm going to fit seating around it. And then about halfway through, we decided, hey, what about a bar to go around the windows? Because then people could pop up their, you know, their laptop, they could look out the window. So that bar kind of came about, maybe an afterthought type of thing. But I knew I wanted to have enough seating that people could come in and sit and, you know, work on a project and, you know, have fun with their friends, and then maybe sit. And we have a gentleman that comes in and pops up his, you know, laptop, and he'll sit there and do work. And then the other day his wife brought in their 2 little kids and they ate together, so that made me feel good that he comes and, you know, does some work, and then she brings, so that way the kids get to see him still, and he's an older Ball State student, and so I just think that's pretty neat that we've already got those regulars. But I just wanted a layout that was, you know, family friendly, and I've had some moms tell me that, you know, they were nervous, you know, like they were just afraid it was not going to be that they could bring in their kids and, you know, make a mess, and we are going to host birthday parties and whatnot, and so, you know, I definitely want it to be family friendly yet college friendly as well, and I think we've definitely touched both those crowds. My hope for the village in the future, and it, you know, kind of incorporates what I want Cardinal Cupcakes to be a part of, is just to get it back to what I remember it as a student. And like I said, that was the place where everybody went. I mean, you didn't necessarily pick a place till you got here, but you might meet on the corner or whatever, and then we were like, hey, where do we all want to go eat? I think the thing that I need the most help, and the other businesses is the students patroning us. Because I think that, you know, there was an article ran a while back in the Daily News that I read, and it said something about, look, you know, we've complained, we wanted stuff, you know, and if this stuff comes, then we have to patron it or it won't be here. And I think that that's just my biggest goal, you know, for the village and for Cardinal Cupcakes and Coneys, is that it's kind of like if you build it, will they come type of thing. And, you know, that's what we've said. Like, there was somebody who did one of our Millhouse people did a presentation in a class the other day, and he said probably 3/4 of the students did not know that it was even down here. And I think that that just amazed me, that, you know, we've heard so much about people know that it's down here, and then to hear that just this big, you know, lecture hall didn't even, 3/4 didn't even know. So I think it's just, you know, we need the students to get the word out, and we need the students to come patron these. I mean, we can open a business after business after business down here in the village, but if nobody's going to come, then they're all going to close, and it's going to go right back to where it was a year ago. And I think that that's just my hope, that everybody will, you know, make it stay alive and rebuild it back up to what I remember it as. And that was just a place where everybody came and hung out, and you met your friends, and you brought your family on the weekends and said, hey Mom, I want to take you over to this cupcake shop, and, you know, I really think you'll like it. And that's really what I hope will happen down here. I love that more businesses are coming in. It doesn't, you know, scare me or make me think of competition, because I think, you know, if they come down to try maybe a new place that's opening, they may not have known that we were here, and so they'll be like, oh, we'll try that next time. So for me, it doesn't seem to me as competition. It just seems to me as it's going to drive more traffic to the village, which more traffic should mean more customers for all of us. Because if they try that place first, then, you know, next weekend they may try us, or they may go try that place and then stop in and pick up some cupcakes to take home. So for me, I've never looked at it as competition. I've never looked at it as that it scares me that there's more people coming in and I want to be all by myself, because I think that when you're by yourself, you don't get as much foot traffic. So I would love for it all to fill back up again, and so that just the more the merrier that come to the village, and just all of us get business. One of my visions when I first started was to see students meet each other down here, to say, you know, hey, at 4 o'clock we meet at the cupcake shop and work on our projects. And that's why we built the bar too, was so they could have room to kind of spread out. You know, maybe 2 people meet each other and they both have their laptops and they have a project in between them. And so, you know, we offer great coffee, 6 flavors a day of coffee, and so I'm hoping people, you know, even if they don't eat a cupcake the first time they come, but maybe they get a cup of coffee and they meet their friend and they see what, you know, see what we have. And you know, we've had some good groups that have came in together, but I definitely want it to be a meeting place, because we do have Wi-Fi and it is free Wi-Fi, so I definitely want students to be able to come down here, feel like they can sit and work on something or study or whatnot, or meet a group and work on a project together. Please stop by Cardinal Cupcakes and Coneys. We're open Tuesday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., and we are closed on Sundays and Mondays. But feel free to stop in, grab a cupcake, a coney, a cup of coffee, and just come down and see what we're all about.